From the Daily Express, so welcome back to both of you. And a lot of the front pages are dominated by Rachel Reeves' apparent U-turn, putting out all the signs that she's going to raise income tax only to backtrack. The Financial Times focuses on the market reaction, Shona.
Yes, so talking about investors losing faith in the Reeves budget, and this is due to suspicions that a weak Prime Minister is being deterred from taking tough fiscal decisions by fear of antagonising mutinous Labour MPs and the British public that already dislikes his government. So there's all these different political and economic considerations, some of which butt up against each other. So the big news, obviously, is this perceived U-turn, although, of course, nothing was officially confirmed to begin with. And then some of the other papers, the Telegraph and the Times, are looking at what she's going to do instead.
Let's dwell on that one in the Telegraph, then, because you talked to us a little bit about that. Is it a change to council tax bans? What are we looking at? Not quite.
Kind of, but not really.
Yeah, kind of, but not really. Most importantly, it's a property tax that councils won't get any of the money from, which is
useful.
Very useful for the Chancellor.
But using council tax bans.
Using council tax bans and then adding a surcharge on top of that over... I mean, at the moment, it just says high-value homes. There's no specific, sort of property. I've a couple of thoughts on this. Firstly, millionaire Londoners are sort of Labour's core constituents now, right? It's a very brave move to do that. Also, there are questions about whether this would be passed on to tenants who don't own the home but are living in valuable homes. And I can tell you from personal experience, it's not, sort of my fault that I have to pay to live in, these expensive London properties. But then, there's also the counter-argument, which is why is a Labour government happy to sort of have the existing council tax bans, which allow millionaires in mansions in Westminster to pay less than a working-class family in a semi-detached in the north of England. Yeah. And that's something that's riling a lot of backbench Labour MPs at the moment.
Yeah, 1991, I think it was, wasn't it? The council tax.
It was.
So they haven't been updated for a long time.
I think
since.
Even more riling is what the Times goes into, which is what is Reeves actually going to do. And there's all things about stealth taxes, which, as far as I'm concerned, is additional tax on working people, so would be akin to a manifesto breach. But I think we should just mention the tax rate on pension contributions.
Yes, it's Times page 7, I think.
This is Times page 7, and what Rachel Reeves is planning on doing is charging national insurance over salary sacrifice that people are putting into their pensions, which is absolutely insane, right? As someone who firmly believes the state pension will not exist when I get to retirement age, why is she disincentivising people from saving into a pension? At the same time, she's not taxing pension lump sum withdrawals from those who have already managed to save and put into a pension and now lucky enough to withdraw from it. And I just think young people are being so shafted by the tax system in this country, and it's deeply unfair.
Well, she hasn't actually announced anything
yet.
We should say, but this is the speculation. Shona, do you think that's a fair argument?
Well, I think the idea that people are being sort of punished for being the right thing is a bit of a problem, because you've got this proposed new tax or charge on electric car drivers. So you've got people who've made a decision based on what the economic climate was at the time. They've got the car and now they're finding out that they're going to be paying a lot more than they thought. So, there will obviously always be winners and losers. But I should point out the Times piece says ministers have ruled out a revaluation of council tax and a new annual charge on property, which somewhat seems to contradict what the Telegraph's saying. But the Telegraph does say it does say that there may be a revaluation, but of only the most valuable properties across bands F, G and H, but then that presupposes that those ones are the most expensive ones. But as Christian says, unless you revalue them all, it's not really very fair.
The key point is the media is as clueless about what's going to be in the budget as Rachel Reeves is, so we're on the same footing.
The public are thinking right at this point, right? Not knowing
and it doesn't stop us discussing it.
No, it does not.
We're going to touch on, we haven't got very long, about 30 seconds, but the Guardian front page pictures Sarah Cox, who has raised an extraordinary amount of money for charity by running... Is it about a marathon a day?
For 5 days.
Which is incredible. And an extraordinary amount of money. It's 9 million
9.5
counting,
million last
right?
time I looked, and it's probably gone up since. It is
that is an extraordinary amount of money. Genuinely, it's quite rare to see that amount of money raised for charity. So it's a fantastic achievement.
I do worry a bit about these celebrities. Eddie Izzard started it. Like, once you've upped the ante this much, where do you go?
We'll revisit in a moment. Thanks both very much indeed. I'm not running anywhere.
What might happen if Russia attacked the UK?